In this video, we're going to do some property binding. So we're going to bind data from our class and component to our template. And there's a few different ways to do this. We looked at string interpolation, but there's other ways to bind data to attributes in our template. So I'm going to set something here. I'm going to set a property, and we're just going to call this image. Let's do image URL. Okay, and we're going to set that to a string of HTTP lorumpixel.com. Is it pixel or pixels? It is pixel.com. And then we can set it to, let's say, 400 width and 200 height. And that's going to give us just a random image to use. So let's go up to our template now, and we're just going to put this stuff on separate lines. And right here, let's put a comma, not a comma, a comment. And we'll say three ways to bind properties. Okay, so the first, I'm just going to put a div here, and then we'll put an image tag, and the image is going to have a source value, and for that source, we're going to set it to some double curly braces. We've seen this before. And it'll be image URL. Alright, so that's our image tag. Let's go ahead and save that. Alright, so you can see that that loads up. Now, another way to do this, we could create a div here. And then let's put an image tag. And then instead of just doing src, we're going to put brackets and then src. And then we can set it to just image URL without having to use the curly braces. Alright, so that's another way to do it. And we can use other things besides strings in this method. In this method it has to be a string, but here we could use booleans and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and save that. And now we have two images. Okay. Now there's a third way we can do this. So let's say div. And inside here we'll do our image. And then instead of doing src or src with the brackets, we're going to do bind dash src. And then we can set that to image URL. And let's save. And we should get three images on the screen now. Now we can bind almost any HTML attribute and set it to a dynamic value or a conditional. What I'm going to do now is just go under here, and then let's put an h4. Okay, and then let's just say image location, and we're going to set that to a span. And then on the span, we're going to add in some brackets and say text content. And that's just going to pertain to the text that's inside of this tag. So let's set it equal to image URL. Alright, and then close that span. And notice there's nothing inside the span here, but if we save it, and you can see that down here, we're just outputting the text of that property. Now, I'm just going to comment out all this stuff for now. So down to here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another property down here, but it's going to be a boolean. So let's say is unchanged. Okay, we'll set that to boolean, and we'll set it to true. And let's also add this. This is a string right here. So for this boolean, what I want to do is have a paragraph. Like, let's say we were editing a post and the post was unchanged. If it's unchanged, we probably don't need the save button to be enabled, and we also don't need a message saying it's been changed, please update. But if we change this to false, meaning that it has been changed, and we want that stuff to have a different behavior. So to show you what I mean, let's go ahead and let's just put an h2 in here, and we'll say create post. So just imagine this as being part of a UI. I'm going to put an HR right here as well. Oops. And then under the h2 here, what we'll do is put a paragraph, and we'll put some brackets, and we're gonna be working with the hidden attribute here, and we're gonna set that equal to is unchanged. Okay, so it should be hidden if it is unchanged. So we'll just end that, and let's put some text in here. We'll just say post has been changed, please save. Okay, and then in addition to that, let's put a button, and this button is going to have an attribute of disabled, and we're going to set that also to is unchanged. Okay, and then for the text, we'll just say save. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this and see what we get. So we have this create post, we have a button that's grayed out, it's disabled, and we're not seeing that paragraph text. That's because unchanged is set to true. Alright, now let's say we go in and we start to edit this post and it changes. So that would make this false. And if we save that, now you'll see the text post has been unchanged, please save, and the save button is now not disabled. Alright, so we're rendering our UI dependent on the properties inside of our component class, and that's where Angular really shines. And you're going to see better examples of this as we move along. Alright, so that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we're going to look into ng class, and I can show you how we can use that to apply different classes depending on component property values.